Immortality. It is something humankind has always idolized, fascinated with cheating death and creating their own narrative in the eons to come. So what comes of this desired fate when you can change it with merely a drop? That is what our newest venture presents to us, and this is what we will be exploring tonight. Hello all, and good evening. My name is Sin, and welcome to Horror and Chill, a lovely web series where I talk about a horror-related topic and the vibes are chill. Tonight's topic, Fatum Betula. Fatum Betula is a game that revolves around the concept of immortality. The world around you and its fate is all controlled by the water that a birch plant absorbs. Could you take this as some deep intuitive take comparing our world's mortality, or more our own, to how we treat the nature we spawned from? Perhaps. But I just like to think of it as a silly little plant friend we get to give treats. Treats that decide the fate of the world, but still, treats! You first appear within a grand church-like area. If you try to exit the door behind you, it will not allow you to pass. However, venturing into the grand waterfall corridor, you are met with the fateful birch tree. Standing at the edge of the platform, you meet a very friendly friend. This being tells you to consider the tree and the land to be one and the same, a synecdoche, that both are kept in a limbotic state between life and death. As such, nothing within their world can accept entropy. That it considered them to perhaps never existed on any other plane before this, and gives us my favorite little line of dialogue in the game. The plant is all fate, and its water our fuel. It provides us with vials to collect liquid to make alterations to the tree, but leaves us with a very cryptic warning.
Don't feed it with what you bleed.
God, I adore vague, cryptic dialogue like this in video games. Things that let your mind make the horror is always so tasty to me. Just, yes! This being isn't the only NPC we meet. There's a funny being stuck at the bottom of a well, this long immortal skeleton being trapped in their basement, a spooky ghost being, another spooky ghost, your strange mother, another player, and, oh, my favorite creature to exist. When you exit the church, you are brought to this strange hub forest land. Going forward, you find a feline-esque being known as the Beast to some followers of the game. I adore the way they look, how they are always just kind of hanging out at this pond. I just like to pretend that they're sitting there watching their reflection in the water, waiting out eternity. They are my favorite character in the entire game, which is why they die so much. I swear to you, 70% of the endings, the Beast is required to die. To the right of the Beast, in some shrubs, you can also enter a strange ocean world that will be more important later. If you go back to the hub and look at the path, going to the bridge will take you to this calm lake scene, and going to the left will take you to this calm autumn forest. Within the lake realm, you can find a knife stabbed into a note, an empty home, and a very peculiar painting. We can take this sword and read about the being before that owned it. Sadly, that being is now past, and the blade can only be used a few more times. This sword will be one of our key items to many of the game's endings. And if you're wondering why I keep saying endings, it's because this game has about 10 different endings, all with their own remark, and for tonight I'll just be talking about the ones I felt were more fascinating. It is my video after all. Like ending 2, Murderers. Murderers ending shows us just what happens if we are to put the beast's blood into the perch tree's water. The world becomes unhinged, violence overrules systems, and an endless river of blood ensues. This was the first ending I got, and the sounds that play in its ending sequence genuinely freaked me out quite a bit on my first playthrough of it. Would you like a jar? I don't think you wanted the jar. Do you want some blade? Blades are for skate. Oh! I didn't know you could kill the cat. Can I go back? I didn't want to kill the cat person. They were my favorite character. Oopsie! Stuck. My final wish is to create something without death. Unfortunately, the skull of a previous immortal is needed. The only one I know of lives behind a wooden door. Just my luck. If you can get me that skull, We may never have to meet death. You're fun. I like you. What does it say? Murderers is a very easy ending to get. Kill the beast with a sword or a fish, take its blood, dunk it in. But there's one slightly more complex ending that intrigues me quite a bit. Ending 3, the cycle. This ending takes a little more effort. You get the sword, sleep in the bed, cut the noose in the other world, take the fruit from the ghost, feed the fruit to the beast, and then you collect the poison from its body. Go into the ocean world that's just at the right of the dead body, fill the ocean with poison, go through the dead seaweed into the chasm below, enter a random house, climb the stairs, head down this long twisting hallway, and then come back out and find yourself? Watching a TV that honestly kind of freaked me out a lot on my first time seeing it. You kill the player and collect its blood. Or, well, your blood. And using it upon the birch tree gets you the cycle. We're told we are a product of the world that raised us. We aren't blamed, though you've murdered the child of your blood as what has previously happened to you. You don't deserve sympathy, but I am sorry. I hope they end up better than you. This just rings to me a sense of sadness, as though our world gave up upon us, hoping we would be the end to the misery, but we proved to fall victim to whatever may have consumed us before, leading us to be the cause of the cycle to repeat itself. We allowed the death of our own to further the world we had suffered from. We are the cycle. Bouncing off that lovely dread-inducing ending, we have an ending I find oddly peaceful. Ending 7. Forever. This ending is by far one that's more easily attained than some of the others, and it really sold me on why I should talk about the game. It touches upon immortality in a way that many things do, but in the same aspect treats it with a more refined dignity and grace. For this ending, you get the sword, cut the rope attaching the boat to the island, get the fishing rod from the boat, get the orange fish, give it to the skeleton in the basement, take their skull, give it to the fun well dweller, and just casually scoop up some liquid immortality they cooked up for you. Very normal things here. This ending feels peaceful, but also unsettling at the same time. No one dies now. All aspects of beauty can be explored for all eternity. Dying stars can be viewed. All secrets can be uncovered. Meaning has become meaningless. Eventually nothing but the immortals remain. They float in an empty void, forgetting who they are. Every problem is solved but one. Being alive. That is Fatum Betula, or at least a little taste of it. I heavily suggest you play the game yourself. It's definitely not a big horror game in the sense of what's been popular nowadays. It's more an unsettling game. One that gets in your mind and gives you little spine chills. It makes you ponder. It puts you in this little world with little to no instruction, and you're just left to your own devices. You choose how the world goes, and I find that to be quite an entertaining idea. That's all from me tonight. I hope you all have a lovely evening. Good night.